Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Today we are going to talk about an important concept of Vedanta. We'll call it for today the ladder of fall. We're going to talk about why does a person fall? What does fall mean? Fall means that he was enjoying a certain level of happiness, of achievements maybe, of morality too. And then suddenly, for some reason that we don't know, this person seems to just fall. It may be a high-flying executive, it could be leaders of countries, it could be the big stars. All this happens in global media. It's very big, it's very large, anyone can see that. The same thing happens to each one of us too. In some ways, we fall. And interestingly, we don't understand why this is happening. Why do people fall? Why is there a fall in our lives, in our happiness? Why does this happen? Today we're going to try and work out this trajectory of why this happens. How is it that we seem to come down? Now, if you see something like an air crash, if an air crash takes place, there is so much investigation that goes into it. There's just so much. Years are spent, millions of dollars are spent, but they get down to it. Why is it that this happened? And because of this, you find that air travel is the safest form of travel today. Because if anything goes wrong, we find out what is the reason this happened. This doesn't unfortunately happen in our own lives, and therefore it is almost the same mistakes. Almost everybody is committing almost the same mistakes over and over again. If a relationship crashes, do we ever investigate and find out why did this relationship crash? If a divorce takes place, does anyone get into it to find out what's happening? If a parent is not able to bring up a child properly, do we get into it and find out what happened? And of course, things like these major, stars going through terrible lives, or cricketing legends we hear so much about. So let us try and understand the basic principles today as to what is it? What is this trajectory of a person falling? The Bhagavad Gita talks about this in the 2nd chapter. Dhyayato Vishayan Pumsaha. Dhyayato thinks, Vishayan on objects, Pumsaha men. A man thinks of something, a person thinks of something. It may be a very innocent thought, just one thought. This says maybe you go to college maybe and you see a person and you say, nice person. Very innocent, very innocuous, nothing much to it, just a thought. It starts like that, just a single thought. Nice car or nice person, something, just a thought, an innocuous thought. A person just thinks a thought and then he thinks it again. Nice person. He's gone to college, someone's gone to college, he sees somebody, he says, nice person, nice person, nice person. Dhyayato Vishayan Pumsaha. A man thinks of objects. Sangaste Shupajayate. Sanga, attachment, comes out of it. Attachment arises out of it. Nice person, nice person, nice person. When this goes on, you come to the second level of things, which is, I'd like to know this person. Why? Because if that person is not there a particular day, you feel like, something's missing. Something's not quite right. Kuch empty hai. So from this thought that nice person, nice person, nice person, we come to Oh, today the person's not there. Why is the person not there? I feel a little uncomfortable. I feel a little empty. To which my mind then jumps to the next thing. The desire to possess and enjoy. So a person thinks of something, has this flow of thought about something, and from that arises attachment. Attachment is the state where you miss the thing when it's not there. And when you feel this discomfort of missing that thing, it jumps to the next stage, which is, oh, since I'm uncomfortable when the thing is not there, I must be able to hold that thing. This is the desire that comes out of it, the desire to possess, the desire to enjoy. So you could start like that with a car. Oh, nice car, nice car, nice car. I like the color of this car. From there, it's a very short leap to, I must get this car. So a person just thinks of something, attachment builds. Out of attachment comes the next level of things, which is desire. Now, when you're in the state of desire, you really want to have that object. And if something interrupts this process, something prevents you from having that object, then krodha abhijayate. Krodha comes. If I like a particular individual and someone else tries to come and meet that person, my thoughts are now deflected from this person who I like to this new person who's coming and interfering with my things. These deflected thought currents are known as anger. Wherever there is desire, anger will have to come. So many people ask this question, how do I control anger? As long as there is desire, anger is a necessary outcome. The moment something happens to interrupt that, anger will start. And so here I am, I'm saying that, oh, this is a wonderful car, I'd love to have this car. And then I go to my, let's say, boss and I say, I need a loan, I need an advance to get this car. And he says, no way, for whatever reason. My thoughts move from the car to the boss who's interrupting my desire. And these deflected thought currents are known as anger. So now I'm angry with my boss because he didn't let me have that car. So if my thoughts are interrupted, this anger can build up quite a lot. Amazingly so. What people can do in a state of anger is incredible. It's next to insanity. It leads to delusion. In that moment, people have committed crimes. You hear all these stories about these boys who claim to love their lady love so much and then they go and chuck acid on them. It sounds strange. You love her, what are you throwing acid on her for? Dhyayato vishayan pumsaha sangaste upajayate. When that sanga is born, desire is born. When desire is born, anger is born. And in that anger, from that anger comes delusion. In that delusion, you really have no idea what you're doing. You may regret it afterwards, but what's the point? You have no idea how you simply lose the capacity to think straight when that anger builds up. And so once you start down this lane and come to anger, anger takes you to moha, delusion, and you can do anything at that point. But you may argue and say, yeah, that happens when the desire is interrupted sometimes, but if it had got fulfilled, there wouldn't have been a problem. Let's examine that. What happens when the desire is fulfilled? Suppose I wanted that car and I got it. Okay, I got my Toyota Corolla. Okay, fantastic. Now what? Is this the last car I'm going to have? No. It's a very quick jump. The moment I get what I want the next thing. When's my Merc coming? So from fulfillment of desire comes about greed, lobha. I get what I want, and then I want more and more and more. Greed can lead to delusion too, not just anger. Greed can take us to delusion. And the havoc delusion can cause, you know. What happens if my greed is fulfilled? What will happen then? I start gaining fear of loss. I feel terribly insecure. Maybe these things will go away one day. There's a huge bhaya, fear of loss. And when I look at those people who have less than me, I go in my Corolla, somebody else goes in a scooter, and we are very arrogant about that and say, oh, we don't speak to those people. When our desires are fulfilled, we become very arrogant towards those who have less than us. And we become very envious of those who have more than us. Whatever I have is my hard-earned money. Whatever you have, however, are all black money. Very envious. There are people who would go invited to somebody's house, go there, have a good meal, have a jolly good time, and come out saying, oh, you know, they made a lot of wealth, but they don't have our taste. All this envy. Look down on people or pretend to look down on people. Either way, whenever our desires are fulfilled, excuse me, whenever our desires are fulfilled, we either get the fear of loss or arrogance towards those who have less or envy towards those who have more. All of these are extremely strong thought flows. It's a huge current. Any one of them can lead us to delusion. And what is this delusion? Delusion means that your head has been completely lost. Your intellect cannot now understand anything. You are an insane person capable of doing anything. You could do absolutely anything in these very strong, emotionally guided moments. If you know the play Iago, the Othello, Iago got people killed just for a promotion. And imagine, it's just not worth it. What are you doing all this for? But these strong emotions, when they build, we have no idea what we're doing. It leads to the stage known as delusion, where your intellect is gone, your buddhi is gone, you're no longer capable of understanding repercussions of what you are doing. And the Bhagavad Gita in the same verse says, buddhi nashat pranashyati. When your buddhi is gone, you are absolutely destroyed. You have no idea what happened, but suddenly your peace is gone, your achievement is gone, your morality obviously is gone, everything is gone. And that's the fall. And what state you may find yourself in at that point, one doesn't know. Could be jail, could be a vegetative condition, could be death, could be anything. Why? Buddhi nashat. Buddhi, intellect, buddhi nashat, from the destruction of the intellect. Pranashyati. Nashyati, to be destroyed. Pranashyati, completely destroyed. What will we do to ourselves? So this is how we fall. It was, remember how we started? It was a simple, innocuous thought, one thought, just a simple thought. And before you know it, it's wiped everything out. I don't know if you've ever gone to Gangotri. You've gone to the beginning of a river. And when you see the beginning of a river, it's just little trickles, little bit. A trickle here, a trickle there, just little trickles. And then slowly those trickles all meet. And before you know it, you have a raging river. This river can devastate the whole thing. It can inundate the fields. That which could have been life-giving becomes the cause of death. So similarly, our thoughts are extremely powerful. If you direct them properly, we can get to somewhere. We can achieve something. We can be something. But the same powerful thoughts, not directed, can wipe out everything. And you see, very tragically, people rise up in life quite a lot. And then for some reason, they no longer can maintain this governance or control. And they wipe themselves out. So we have to understand, how should we do it? How are we to make sure that we would not fall into this condition? How will we ensure that my life will go on well and I will not one day come to the stage where some very extremely powerful emotion has just simply shattered everything? Well, the obvious way is that when these thoughts come to us, we must examine them. First, examine, what is the thought I am holding? Where is this thought leading me to? What's going to be the consequences of this thought? If it is a thought you want to hold, keep it. But if you feel, no, this thought is not taking me to where I want to go, reject it there and then, before it becomes too strong for us. Remember, if we could not deal with one thought, it's going to be that much more difficult when it becomes a spate of thoughts. So deal with it when the problem is little. A stitch in time saves none. Deal with it when the problem is small. Don't allow it to become big. However, for this you will have to be alert at all times, and that may or may not be possible for us. So a more comprehensive way of doing this is to keep for ourselves a positive goal in life. This way, whenever a thought comes to us, we compare it to our goal and say, is this thought taking me to my goal? Then I keep it. If it is not, I don't want it. So the goal becomes a kind of direction, a positive direction that we have given ourselves, and this will help us keep our head on our shoulders. Because if you really want your goal, you will ask yourself this question, is this taking me there? If you don't have a goal, just to in a vacuum stay alert is a lot more difficult. So what we need to do in this world is to fix for ourselves a positive goal. Compare each thought to that positive goal. If it's taking me there, I keep the thought. If it's not taking me there, I throw it out there and then. Don't wait till it gets any bigger in life. So let us understand carefully what this was about. Why does a fall take place? A fall takes place because the thoughts in me have gotten so powerful that I no longer have that capacity to hold them. Why did these thoughts get so powerful within me? Because I allowed a thought to breed another thought indiscriminately. When I allow a thought to breed another thought indiscriminately, suddenly I have more than I can control. We have got bacteria around us all the time, right? And this bacteria comes into our system and most of the time we are okay. How come? Because when a few get in, our body's immune system fights them immediately. But if something happens and it goes past the immune system some way, that tiny little bacteria which the human eye cannot even see, that tiny little bacteria will overtake this body. A 6-footer can be downed by that tiny little bacteria. How? That bacteria multiplies. That tiny little thing, it multiplies at a brisk rate, and then you're in trouble. Similarly, these insubstantial thoughts within us, they multiply at a brisk rate, and then we are in trouble. So, when the thought comes, I must examine it there and then. When I notice that my thoughts are leading to a state of attachment, be careful. You're walking down the trouble lane. At least correct yourself there. How would you know that you've come to attachment? You start missing things. So be careful, at least there. If you miss it there, then you will start experiencing maybe anger, the agitations of anger. Hold it there. At least stop it there. But if you don't stop it, in spite of all these red flags, then delusion is very close. So, what should one do? How do we deal with this? How do I make sure I go through my life without just suddenly one day getting up and finding myself in this big mess? What action can we take right now? What can we do? What preventive action can we take? How do we prevent ourselves from this fall? Well, there are three things, of which the first is fairly obvious. It means just be a little aware of our thoughts, see where my thoughts are going, keep some kind of awareness going. Oh, I'm thinking about this fairly regularly, some understanding of what is going on inside my own mind. With such great regularity, we read newspapers, we find out what's happening with other people's lives. Why not a little attention on our own lives? What's going on in my head? It is not so much what other people can do that's going to wreck my life. If people do something stupid, maybe I can take some preventive action. But if I'm doing stupid things, who's going to take preventive action? If I don't look after myself, who's going to look after me? So, what should I do? First way is just being careful about what I'm thinking about. Being careful about what I am repeatedly thinking about. Be careful when you start missing something. Here is attachment starting. Know that you can miss something only when you have thought about it. If you have not been if you have not been thinking about it over and over again, the state will not arise. Why can we not just love to enjoy things without thinking about them? Why should we go on spending this indiscriminate thought flow on things? Whatever you have to do, do. Whatever you have to enjoy, enjoy. But when we have this indiscriminate thought flow, then we start missing it. When you start missing, at least, it's like a red light flashing on your dashboard. Be careful, something's going on. You can withdraw then. If you miss it here, you can even catch it. Where it's more easier to actually notice it, if not to catch it, is when anger starts. So when anger starts, then you know, oh, I really seem to have come a long way now. I better catch it here, because if I don't catch it here, it will be long gone. Just like when children are dribbling, you dribble a ball maybe at the top of a staircase, and if you miss, then that ball goes from the landing to the next step. And from the first step, it may go to the 5th step, and from the 5th step, it jumps straight on to the 15th step, and you've lost it. So be careful, right on top. When you're on top of it, be careful. So the first and easy thing to do, of course, is to keep track of my thoughts. If you start doing this, you may find this a bit difficult. Maybe it's not always possible. So there's a way to help us keep track of thoughts, and that way is to have a goal in life. If I have something positive to do, then every time a thought comes to me, a random thought comes to me, I can always ask myself this question: will this thought take me to my goal? If so, I'll keep it. If not, I reject it here and now. So that having a goal is like having a compass with which I can kind of compare where I'm going. And that keeps me on track. But it's a pity of it is that very few people have goals in this world. Very few people. If you wake up somebody in the middle of the night and say, what's your goal? And he can't answer this question, it's a clear indication he doesn't have a goal. Because if you ask him, what's your name? He'll answer, isn't it? So if I ask you right now, what's your goal? And you say, you don't have a goal. So when we have a goal in life, we can direct our thoughts. Problem is, we never spend any time thinking, what should I achieve in this world? What should I be doing? I have a certain amount of time in my life. What will I do with this time? How should I use it? It is just routine, mechanical activity going on. Rather than that, let us direct ourselves to a positive goal. And that will not only take us to the positive goal, it will also protect us from wrecking ourselves. To live life without a goal is a rudderless ship. When it will go onto the rocks, nobody knows. But that's where the other problem comes now. It's difficult. Many people find this difficulty. So often I hear this question, how do I even fix a goal? Now the fact is, nobody can help us fix a goal. The goal is something that I, from the bottom of my heart, seek. So how can anyone tell you what your goal should be? You will be inspired by something and follow that, whatever that be. So what to do to get a goal? If I can't yet fix it, what should you do? Well, obviously you think about it and try to find it. But to help in this process, a good thing to do is to study Vedanta. Studying Vedanta means 20% reading, 80% thinking. Think about those truths. Think about those ideas. It is not that a goal will dawn upon us by reading a book. But as we think about these ideas, as we reflect upon these ideas, we will understand so many things, such as what kind of goal should a person have? What kind of goal will actually keep me on track better? If you think about it a bit, you will see that the wider the goal is, the more it can keep you on track. The narrower the thing is, the less it can keep us on track. If I have a goal of I want to be Miss India in the next 1 year, I will have to curtail, control, direct a certain part of my life. If I want to be a Wimbledon champion in the next 10 years, then I would have to do a lot more. It will become that goal will cover many more areas. But if I want to achieve something in 10 years, let us say I want to be Wimbledon champion, then maybe I don't have to worry. I have to worry about obviously what I eat, what I drink, what hours I keep, what exercises I do, how much practice I do, all that's within control. But I may not have to control things like how I speak to my parents. What is my relationship with my staff? I may not need to control it. So the higher my goal is, the more things necessarily come under its purview. The lower my goal is, the lesser things that come within its purview. So, as we study Vedanta, we understand what kind of thing should I pursue in this world. There is no point pursuing something with heart and soul and then at the end of it finding that it wasn't so worth it. Like Ramatirtha quotes, he talks about, for a cap and bubbles our lives we pay. For a cap and bells our lives we pay. Bubbles we earn with a whole soul's yearning. So with the study of Vedanta, we will know what kind of things we should pursue. What kind of things will actually get us what we are looking for. And then we are on a very clear wicket. So if you'd like to study Vedanta, the prescribed book is Vedanta Treatise by Swami Parthasarathi. Study it. Study it means 20% reading, 80% thinking. Thinking means reflecting upon those ideas. So the solutions to this problem of fall are, number one, being aware of your thoughts, which is difficult. So you solve that problem by having a positive goal in life, which some people also find difficult. So then you study Vedanta so that your goal will one day become revealed to you. And when your goal becomes revealed to you, in the sense you begin to understand what kind of goal, what would be a good thing for me to achieve in life, and you get the intellectual strength to actually achieve that thing. So when we do these three things in life, we find that our potential for falling will come down. We need not fall in life. Circumstances around us may go up, may go down. That's a different thing. But why should I fall? Why should I suffer? Things will go on. Let them go on. I will deal with whatever life has to offer. There is no reason for my inherent fall. There is no reason that I as a human being should fall. I can keep rising no matter what else is happening around me. This is my birthright as a human being. This is my heritage as a human being. It would not behove me well to let go of such a thing. Thank you.